Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the City Council meeting. Tonight is October 11, 2022. It is 7 o'clock in the city chambers at 1140 Dealman Road in Olivet. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Knox,
Here.
Councilmember Waldman.
Here.
Chairman Pro Tem Carl,
Here.
Mayor.
Here. Next item, please.
The next item is communications, and there we have a proclamation this evening.
There we go. So tonight we have a proclamation in honor of Leo Bressler's 100th birthday. And unfortunately, it's past his bedtime or close to his bedtime, so he's not here. But I've had the fortune of knowing Mr. Bressler because he was a neighbor of my family's, one of the original owners on Woodmore. And so I'd like to share with you the proclamation, and then I'll present it to the family members that are here tonight. The proclamation in honor of Leo Bressler on his 100th birthday. Whereas veteran Leo Bressler will be honored by the city of Olivet, friends and family on the occasion of his 100th birthday on October 22nd, 2022. And whereas longevity of life is an honor for an individual and for a community which benefits from the knowledge, creativity, and experiences he brings to all. And whereas he was born in St. Louis, Missouri on October 22nd, 1922, and whereas he graduated from Ben Blewett High School in 1940, and in 1943 graduated with a degree in chemical engineering from Washington University. And whereas afterwards served his country and joined the Navy, becoming a communications officer on an LST, ferrying men and equipment from England to France. And whereas he has contributed to the growth and economic development of St. Louis as one of the founding members of Sigma Aldrich, now a global enterprise still headquartered in St. Louis. And whereas he was happily married to Geraldine for 58 years and a devoted father, spending most of his adult life in Olivet and University City. And whereas Leo Bressler has lived during the most eventful century of this nation's history and has been a model and inspiration to his family and those who know him. Now, therefore, I, Maxine Weil, Mayor of the City of Olivet, along with my city council members, do hereby deem it an honor and pleasure to extend the certificate of recognition to Leo Bressler on the occasion of his 100th birthday for his service to our country and as an Olivet community member, with sincere congratulations and the best wishes for many more happy, memorable years.
Mazel tov.
His son and daughter-in-law is tonight, and his husband, but his son and daughter-in-law is not here. Next item, please.
Next item is city manager's report. Thank you.
Get this.
Okay, for those who haven't seen it yet, I'd like to have you make sure you pick up this month's copy of Our Town. It's a community news publication serving Olivet, Maryland Heights and the surrounding area. And Olivet was featured. We were both on the front cover with a centerfold article, which was very nice. Great job with Kiana Fleming, wrote up the article. And we are working to have kind of more regular presence in the Our Town magazine. We have the October dashboard for parks. I do not have the dashboard for the community center project. I will have that at the next meeting. You can see here our anticipated dates for completion, October 14th for the Indian Meadows. I think most they're doing now work on kind of assembling tables and other things that will be in that park. Stacy Park is, we've done a walkthrough, we've done a punch list, and we're waiting for some county permits to get cleared up, but once the punch list items are taken care of, I think we'll be close to go for that. Villa Park, they are working pretty steadily in Villa Park right now, putting up some of the new playground equipment, reinstalling some of the existing equipment that had to be moved. They've got a lot of the sidewalk poured, and the next big item really for them is to get the stormwater and the water service for the splash pad in. And that's really been the biggest kind of delay at Villa Park. Herbside, they started work on there. They haven't really had too many things that would slow them down. And it's just, that's, they're first working on, if you go by, you'll see that there's going to be some new pathways in there. And they've got those graded out. And then they're also working at the dog park area. So you can see we're, as it says, 98% complete with the, and that's actually the pavilions. It's still about 98% because they have some capstones that they need. They came in and they were not the right size. So that's being handled, but you can see kind of all the work that's kind of been completed and where we're at. We currently don't have any outstanding requests for information. You do have on your agenda tonight a change order for Hankins. We'll go over that later in the agenda. You can see that we are we're running out of our contingency. As the council's aware, we're going to talk about the budget in a little more detail at your work session, which is a different date. It's going to be next Tuesday, the 18th. We'll talk a little bit more about that. They are on target with their DBE participation. And again, we're really, as the work kind of continues, some of their owner risks are starting to fall now, particularly since they have all of the kind of the digging done that they need to do in the parks. Well, until we get to this stormwater for Villa. This is the Villa Park. This is the new, the top left is the new playground equipment. It's not completed, as you can see. Otherwise, somebody would go out that blue end and have a little bit of a fall. Eventually, those will be connected. And then this is just another view. That will have kind of a five-bar product in there, which is kind of the little wood chips and fake wood chips that you see. And then it also will have be reseated, and there'll also be a walkway that connects these different play areas. This is Indian Meadows. This is the new playground equipment there. The logs that they have are logs that have come really from Olivet, existing areas in Olivet that they've been saving and putting together. This is this is kind of what you see now in a lot of the nature play areas. So that's what we're doing there. This is the Stacy Pavilion. I think that the pavilion looks very nice. They're still finishing up the downspouts here, and that will have a cap. That's what I was talking about. That came in kind of cut wrong. So that'll be finished up. If you're in that pavilion, I think you'll really appreciate the wooden ceiling, and the fact that when you're in there, a couple of things make it different from the pavilion we had before. One is it's a taller and it has some openings, so there's a lot more airflow coming within that, and the fact that it is taller, it makes it feel much more spacious, and you also get an amazing view on all angles of the park from all different directions. So I think the relocation of the pavilion closer to the parking lot, and then with that little kind of the brick area and the wall, really add a lot to the usefulness of that pavilion. You may notice that low wall or seating wall looks like it's not done, and that's because it's going to be an art project with Lisa Roth, who was the art teacher at Old Bonham School. She's now retired. She worked on the mosaic here with and for us, and she's going to be taking some of the pieces and making new pieces of art, and that's going to go on the front of that seating wall. That's probably not going to happen though until next year, just because of the temperature and weather, et cetera. This then, while I don't have a dashboard for the community center, these are more recent photos of the community center. I believe they're pretty much completed with the steel framing. It's I think they are actually done, and now they're working on just the rest of the framing. And you can see this is this area here. This is the fitness, of the fitness room. And so it's going to be kind of a nice, so you're kind of looking, there's a little bump out here. That'll be, so that's going to be a view that you see as you're kind of driving up. And then now you're looking, this is actually the entrance, where that big piece of equipment is. That's going to be the entrance. And then this is the indoor playground that's going to jet out and have a little bit of an angled roof. You can kind of see how there's a little bit of angle there now. This is the back of the community center, the new community center. This is the gym. And then the kitchen, storage area and kitchen, kind of the back entry into that. And the reason I'm showing this is going to be this is where the city trail and meets the Centennial Greenway, and the Greenway. So this is actually kind of where the house had been. And so you get this really lovely kind of meandering of the trail as it comes around, and then it goes down and it goes to Warson. If you've driven on Warson and you've looked, you'll see kind of where that trail ends. They're expensive. Missouri American Water began their water main replacement on an angle this week. If you haven't noticed, again, we anticipate it's going to be about 3 months to get this work done. And the new main is going to be installed on the westbound lane. There'll be a temporary restoration, but it won't get a permanent pavement restoration until spring of 2023. And that again is due to the weather. I had this up last time, but it bears repeating that beginning October 17th, the recreation classes will be held here in the city center in our community rooms. The recreation staff and administration will be moving into their temporary location on November 2nd. And the park staff hopefully will be moving into the new maintenance facility by that time. And the hours are going to remain the same, phone numbers, email addresses, everything remains the same. And the reason we're doing this kind of early move is due to wanting to get a step up on the abatement and then the demolition of the old community center. If this work occurs during these winter months, we're able then to really kick into the play area and the splash pad beginning early spring of 2023. The splash pad is location will be kind of on the where, of an area where the old community center sat. And so that's why we're trying to get that down during the winter months. We had a release of the new Turkey Trot t-shirts. And again, registration is open. We've got 255 registrations, and this we're kind of where we're at. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Those are Tanya Welch, who is our accountant, and Carlos Trejo, our planning and community development director. I'm actually, while Tanya's on the screen, I am going to ask Darren to give you an update, and I'm only asking him because I don't want to mess up the name. Give a little update on Tanya's recent achievements.
I'm more than happy to talk about the organizations that we submit all of our documents to. The GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association, has I would call it almost like a CPA equivalent for government officers, and it's a CPFO, the Certified Finance Professional designation. And Tanya is well on her way to getting that designation. It's a big achievement, lots of studies, and shows her knowledge of what we do day in and day out, and from the governmental side. As a finance officer, not all CPAs are good at finance, but all CPFOs are good at finance for governments. So that's what we're well on our way there. So hopefully provide more updates on that as the year goes forward. So congratulations to Tanya for sure. Well earned.
Yeah, she just finished one of the tests, and she's, like as Darren said, she's very excited about that, and we're really excited to have her take that interest. And she's still smiling, but that's probably because she's just standing by Carlos. Coffee with the mayor is tomorrow at 8:45. I already have the coffee ready to plug in. The mayor's guests will be Bruce McGregor, all things public works. On Thursday, the 13th, is the Great Olivet Clean Out. Again, paper shredding, e-waste, RX disposal, drug take back. And this year, with a grant that we received from the county, we will be able to accept anything with a tube, like a TV, those types of things, for free. That fee will be waived. It's typically $20, $25, depending on the size, etc. So if you have an old TV you need to get rid of, the 13th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Stacy Park is the place to do it. Thursday the 13th, yes.
So can I ask a question on that? They clearly will go up to 7 p.m. because I have some commitments and I would really like to get into this. And I know I will be one of those that will end up coming at the very end. So.
Yep,
Okay.
I will make sure now. I will say you can't leave till Missy comes.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks. Okay.
But I understand too, that sometimes people do, if it gets slow, then they take off early. As I said, we have a council work session next Tuesday, the 18th. Park and Recreation Commission is the 19th. And Planning and Community Development is October 20th. Economic Development Commission, October 24th. And I forgot to put up there earlier, the Harvest Festival is October 22nd, 7 p.m. And it's at the community center in Warson Park. It's going to be in Warson Park, kind of where it was before behind, but you will have an opportunity to walk through the community center. And that's really going to be the last time the public will be in the community center. Well, close to the last time public will be in the community center because the will be moving at on that October 31st. And that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions you folks may have.
Thank you very much, and we'll take the next item, please.
Next item is city council reports.
Let's start down here with Councilmember Knox. Have you attended any meetings?
Madam Mayor, I have nothing to report.
Councilmember Carl?
Neither
Or
do I.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry.
Neither do I.
Councilmember Clark
I have nothing to report.
and Councilmember.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's a pleasure. Welcome, everybody. I did attend the Planning and Community Design Commission workshop meeting of October 6, 2022. Convened by Dawn Doty and Ms. Sondag because Mr. Martin and Mr. Trejo were absent and involved in other activities. 46 Stony Side Lane was approved. This was after a serious conversation about the city hiring a firm to deal with looking at the stormwater runoff management issues, as well as offering some ways of improving and enhancing the problem that was going on right now for this particular home. And the city will use their services as they continue to look at that water problem down in that area of the city anyway. It was approved 5-0. Under consent business, 604 Ashmont, which was a site plan community design and concept stormwater management, was a single family home, was also approved 5-0. Under discussion items, medical marijuana facilities and all of that zoning regulations, the commission discussed it. And there was public input provided. Comprehensive plan and where the city is going with regards to its subcommittee was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission. There was brief conversation about the text amendment, PA Public Activity District and Child Care Daycare Center and some changing of zoning. It was explained why that was being asked. And the commission agreed with it, if my memory serves me correctly. And that is pretty much the extent of the business that occurred at the Planning Community Design Commission on October 6th. And that's all I have to report from that meeting, Madam Mayor. Thank you all very much.
So many of us on the council had the pleasure of attending with some of the Olivet staff, the ribbon cutting at the Oliver. And it's really, when you're inside there and you're in their courtyard, you don't feel like you're on Olive Street Road. I mean, it's really beautiful and it's a nice addition to our city. And then Councilmember Waldman joined me last Friday morning at the Olivet, the Creve Coeur Olivet Chamber of Commerce new member breakfast, where new businesses in Olivet and Creve Coeur each got up and gave like a 1-minute spiel about what their business does. And that was also a nice event to attend. So that covers that, and I'll be at Parks next week. Next item, please.
Next item is hearing from citizens.
Is there anyone out there that wants to speak in Zoom land or in the audience? We're not scaring you away. Next item, please.
Next item is item number 6, bill number 2986. An ordinance to approve a petition for a final subdivision plat for a boundary adjustment entitled 9320 to 9322 Olive Boulevard consolidation. Second reading.
Good evening, Mr. Trejo.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet. And tonight before you is Bill 2986. It authorizes the city clerk to sign the legal instrument that would record the combination of the two properties addresses 9320 and 9322 Olive Boulevard. We're all familiar with 9320. That's the art gallery on the east side of Olive. In there that belongs to the Lococo Publishing. They have acquired the property immediately to the west, which is the old Neil Hair Salon that was a residential structure that was converted into an office long ago, and then it was last used as a hair salon. And there it's been vacant for probably the past 5 years. Mr. Lococo has bought several properties and all of that. With this acquisition, he is expanding the gallery space next door. In order to do so, he needs to get rid of that boundary line that subdivides the two properties. This will consolidate it into one lot and authorize the issuance of building permits once it's recorded. Again, this is the legal instrument that is recorded in St. Louis County that formally combines the two parcels into one. It requires council approval. It's been vetted by the Planning and Community Design Commission and reviewed for compliance with Chapter 405, which is our subdivision ordinance. I'll be glad to answer any additional questions or any items regarding the process for the subdivision review. Mayor, that's all I have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Trejo? Okay,
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve Bill 2986, an ordinance to approve a petition for a final subdivision plat for a boundary adjustment entitled
you cut it off.
9320, 9322 Olive Boulevard Consolidation.
Call for the vote. She realized what she
Councilmember
did.
Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman.
Yes.
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes,
Motion passed by action of the Olivet City Council. Bill number 2986 becomes ordinance number 2757.
Thank you, Mayor.
next item, please.
Item number 7 is bill number 2987, an ordinance of the city of Olivet, Missouri that repeals and replaces in its entirety chapter 535 sewers, article 4, residential sanitary sewer lateral repair program policy and procedures. Second reading.
Quickly introduce this and tell you about a little change that we made, and then ask Bruce McGregor to also come up in case you have any questions for him. Basically, the chapter as it sits now, it contains both policy and procedures. Really, ordinances should be mainly just policy level, so that procedures are done more flexible. They're done at the department level, and we're able to kind of change them as necessary. Without changing the ordinance. So we kind of removed the procedures and kept the policy. One of the significant changes in the program is no longer requiring the property owner to pay costs upfront to be then reimbursed by the city. The city will now pay the contractor directly up to a maximum of $3,500. The one change that occurred between the first reading and the second reading was in F, where we were defining essentially the defective lateral sewer service line. And prior, at the first reading, we had kind of a list of items that would be defined as a defective sewer lateral. And we were proposing to take those out and actually just use a broader language. It's a deficiency that inhibits the system's functionality, structural integrity, or does not meet public health or plumbing code requirements. I think this makes it a little bit easier in case there is something that maybe we missed in the 6 items that were listed. With that, happy to answer any questions. And if you have any hard questions, Bruce McGregor is at the podium.
I know at the first meeting you went through it much more like thoroughly and asked a lot of more questions. So I don't have follow-up questions tonight. Getting off easy tonight. Not so easy tomorrow. Topic the mayor's gonna be tossed.
Well, I'll sleep well tonight and have a big
Okay.
breakfast.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I motion to approve Bill 2987, an ordinance of the city of Olivet, Missouri that repeals and replaces in its entirety Chapter 535 sewers, Article 4 residential sanitary sewer lateral repair program policy and procedures.
Call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes,
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passed by action of the Olivet City Council. Bill number 2987 becomes ordinance number 2758.
thank you for this, council. It's been a long time coming. I appreciate this very much.
I think we all do. And thank you to Mr. McGregor for seeing this through. Next item, please.
Next item is appointment of Park and Recreation Commissioner.
Well, we had a vacancy on our Park and Recreation Commission. And we have, the mayor, actually should let the mayor speak to this. She interviewed and discussed with a couple other people. The possibility of serving on the commission. The mayor is the liaison to the Park and Recreation Commission. And I don't know, Mayor, if you want to do the introduction.
So, Stacy Budke is in the audience tonight. She joined us. She just returned from a safari in Africa and time where she also volunteered, which was, we were anxious to hear about. But Stacy has lived in Olivet for 3 years and is her degree was actually in recreation. And we're very excited to have her joining us. And she also now is a therapist for first responders. And so she brings a lot of talents to our community. She is an 8th grader, and that also is wonderful because we don't have someone on the Parks and Recreation Commission with a student in that age bracket, and you know that brings another piece. So she had the pleasure of being introduced to Beverly Tucker Knight when she was here meeting with me, and will be joining our first meeting as of next week if she's upon being appointed tonight. You want to come up and say anything? Put you on the spot?
Hi, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to work with our community and kind of get my hands in and help out where I can.
I stole your thunder.
Can I ask you a question? How much are you knowledgeable with regards to recreational park activity for the disabled and the sensitivity limited children? Where are you on that?
So my bachelor's degree is recreational therapy and recreation administration. So I worked as a certified therapeutic recreation specialist for years while I was in grad school to get my counseling degree.
Mhm.
So I did adaptive PE, I did adaptive classes, going swimming, going to baseball games, basketball.
Very good. All right. We need a little bit of
Very
that.
familiar with
We
it.
need that sensitivity on the board as we create more things in our parks. So
Sure.
welcome. Thank you.
I'm happy to entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I will make the motion because you're the mayor and it really is your board, but I'll make the motion that we appoint Stacy Berkey to fill a Park and Recreation Commission vacancy for the term that ends July 31, 2024.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes,
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes,
Motion passed.
great. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Okay, next item, please.
Next item is item number 9, approval of Hankins Construction change proposals 31 and 32 totaling $32,698 for the Parks Improvement Project.
Thank you. What you have before you are 2 change orders. They're similar in that they are both for the addition and coordination of a water meter work. But one is at Indian Meadows, the other is at Villa Park. These are both for supplying water to the water lines and the meters to the play features at each of those parks.
Madam
Are there
Mayor,
any questions?
I do
sorry.
because I walked into Meadows Park and I do have a question. I took photographs and I didn't get an opportunity to show that. First off, I want to say that the park looks great. You know, the sidewalks are cement, they're wide. I am so proud of the fact that we don't have asphalt. But there is something at Grandview. It's it's a low bar. There is this meter or something on it. And I wish I could find my phone to kind of show you, but that's what I thought that was. I thought that was a water meter. Do you know what I'm describing? Okay, go ahead and move on, and I'm gonna try to find my phone and show this to staff, and they can
But
tell
when you
me.
say Grandview, are you talking about Wortham Park?
No, I'm talking about, I'm sorry, Indian Meadows, right?
You
Um,
said Grandview, so I'm not sure what street you're
Well,
talking
it's
about.
off of Grandview
Yeah.
here on, so
Oh, okay.
forgive my
Sure.
brain here. But I thought that, I didn't know what it was. I took a picture. I'll show you later. I thought that was a water meter that was already put in at Indian Meadows Park. So it's not, obviously, but I will ask later
Well,
what it
well, that's
is.
the question. Has this already been done and now we're doing the change order because it was more costly?
No, these were just approved.
Okay.
So we got the quotes from the companies that do the work for water company.
I mean, so obviously it's not the water meter, but I'm gonna ask later when I find the picture, show it over to Bruce. What is that? Because that's what I thought it really was. Okay.
Great.
Not that I'm aware, I should say.
Are there any questions?
And
Okay,
commit.
call for the vote. I'll be happy to entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Hankins Construction change proposals 31 and 32 totaling $32,698 for the Parks Improvement Project.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox.
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman.
Yes,
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
Next item, please.
Approval of agreement with Aramonino, did I say that right? LLP for diversity, equity, and inclusion assessment.
I have, hold one second, I apologize. As the council is aware, you requested that I talk with representatives from Aramino and get a little bit more of a defined kind of services along with the costs associated with what we're kind of talking about as a phase one. These are what we have before you. And I actually just we had a meeting yesterday and I got the revised proposal today. The first part and the part that will take some of the time is the initial diversity, equity, inclusion assessment to determine kind of our baseline, essentially, what are our practices, what are our initiatives, those types of things. A lot of the information that they'll be looking for and requesting, I'll be providing them. We'll be providing them, as it says here, kind of our organizational structures or departments. We're going to be talking about the makeup of our staff, makeup of our racial, gender, makeup of our staff, possibly other commissions as well as, and then they'll be reviewing our policies, our employee policies. They'll be probably be looking at some departmental policies. They'll be reviewing our codes and our regulations. We'll be providing them with census data to kind of give them a little reflection of what these what the city looks like. And we have a lot of that information as we're preparing to present to the council next Tuesday. I will, once this is executed, I'll be receiving a bigger kind of checklist of things that they need and want. Once they have that information, they'll do, 2 1-hour facilitated, kind of meetings. It says with up to 3 relevant groups. We've already talked about it being 2 groups with maybe one, the council and possibly department heads. And that might be then, two meetings with the council or 1 2-hour meetings, because we're looking at time here. That's what they're billing on, is just time. And and that they'll talk about the information they found. They'll talk to you about, what you're looking at to achieve, what your goals are to achieve here. Then they will kind of review again with all this information, and kind of go back, and they can provide then what we're really trying to get to is at the end is their observations and recommendations for the next phase. What are things we're going to want to focus on in your next phase? They're going to figure out where we're at. They're going to make some suggestions, but what we're doing well, what we can improve on. And then you will have a conversation about what's the next phase look like. What are we going to start drilling deeper into? Because we know diversity, equity, and inclusion is a very broad topic. Are we talking about our zoning? Are we talking about our employment practices? Are we talking about our contracts? Are we talking about any kind of, you can go on and on and on. And I think this is a cultural change. So it's going to be a longer process. And I think that's what you're looking at. I'm not proposing that you do either the option for phase 1. And so we are looking at the 25,000.
So for everyone, this is the first time of seeing it. Take a minute to read it, and then if you have any questions, we can start with that. I have a question. I can kick it off if you'd like. I noticed under engagement and administration and fees, that it says there's a 5% service fee. It's billed for administrative and technology expenses. And so my question is, I understand that we're paying, it's more of an hourly rate. So if we go down, that 5% would be within the 25,000?
Yes.
Okay.
So Barb, if you're saying no for option for phase 1, and does that also mean no for option of phase 2? Because you got to have phase 1 to get to phase 2.
I'm not recommending I'm not recommending that the council add on the survey at this point in time until we can add it later, if you so choose, if it's decided that's necessary.
I understood that.
And you don't need that. For the option for additional facilitated meetings I think at this point, my thought on this point was that we were really the council was really looking at themselves. And the only reason even department heads are brought up is to give maybe a better understanding for the council. Yes. And to go out from that, I think is kind of too early.
Okay.
That's my reasoning,
Sure.
But again, it's for you folks.
Sure.
And I think when we talked about this as a council at our retreat, the idea, and at our last meeting after we got the other bid, was that we talked about doing starting with the base, starting with what we need. And then after we work with them, say on this first part, then we can look at what next steps, and then we could ask for like a second proposal, or then look at some of these next steps, and then decide from there how to proceed.
I just didn't understand whether
I mean, we just.
elimination of phase one means
Right.
automatic elimination of phase two,
No,
or
no,
that's what my question really was.
they're
related to.
standalone.
I think
Okay.
there, and I also think
Standalone
there would be
things.
like
Okay.
next steps. You agree with that?
Yes, I'm all for moving it forward, and wherever it takes us, it takes us.
Great.
That's what I want.
Okay, are there any
Mhm.
questions? Any other questions?
The motion I would be requesting would be authorization for the city manager to execute an agreement with Armanino LLP for the services indicated on the proposal at a rate not to exceed $25,000.
So moved.
Call for the vote?
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox.
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman.
Yes,
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes,
motion passed.
thank you. And I'd like to add what Missy said at the end of the sewer lateral, but I'll say the same thing is, this has been a long time coming. It's been a goal of ours for a while, and just being able to get us to this step is exciting, and look forward to working with them. Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is hearing from citizens.
Okay, anyone out of there in Zoom land? Okay, next item.
Next item is review and approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
September 27th, during our regular meeting.
I'll second that also.
All right.
Call for a vote.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox.
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman.
Yes.
Chairman
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
And I'd like to apologize because earlier in the meeting, I wanted to welcome Bill. And I'm gonna butcher your last name, but Bill has been working closely with Paul Martin, has been at many of our meetings and has sat off to the side. We invited him up to the dais tonight since Paul was not able to be here, and we're glad you were able to be here. So with that said, we'll say next item.
Next item is the city attorney's report.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Bill Kistner, Kistner. And I of course spoke with Paul Martin before today's meeting. Paul is on vacation in Italy, and I wish him well on that trip. He had told me he was learning Italian prior to leaving, but all I saw was him saying buongiorno every morning. I never saw any further indication that he had learned any Italian. Hopefully he just wasn't showing off.
I believe he said croissant.
Yeah, right. But yes, I did speak with Paul, and I have no report.
Thank you. Next item, please. Another business, we'll call for an adjournment.
Good. Thank you.
Man,
Being-
we're almost 52 minutes.